After years of pro-cannabis groups advocating that the Senate expunge the records of non-violent offenders arrested for marijuana, a major step is set to be taken towards that reality. The Cabinet recently endorsed the St. Lucia Cannabis Commission's recommendation to strike out the criminal records of persons charged with unlawful possession of cannabis under 30 grams. National Security Minister Hermangild Francis says before this can happen, legislation has to be revised.
I had to give advice from the AG office indicating that we now amend the rehabilitation of offenders board, the legislation, so that to allow them to be able to do those sort of things. Okay, or allow the Governor General to pardon. I said no. I think that we have to change the legislation of the rehabilitation board to allow them to be able to do that. And we're going to do it as very quickly as possible.
Persons charged for the unlawful possession of cannabis may have their records expunged by next year.
So you say 2021?
2021, yes. Most definitely. Well, I'm not too sure. We'll let the minister who is the lead on that to take those sort of questions. But I know we are actively working on it, and it was brought to cabinet. We discussed it, and so there is push forward. We are going forward.
Meanwhile, Commerce Minister Bradley Felix disclosed that work continues on the regulatory and legislative framework for the cannabis industry.
It is going full steam ahead as it relates to the AG's chambers. The last time I spoke to the AG, he has actually a dedicated team working on the whole drafting procedure. So yes, as I said, for me alone, I would have wanted the process to be a lot more advanced, but you have to understand how things work in the service and you have to give it its own time.
The St. Lucia Cannabis Commission hopes to complete the regulatory and legislative framework by the end of November 2020. Upon completion and approval of Cabinet, the framework will be forwarded to the Legislative Drafting Unit for the drafting of the bill. This is expected to be completed by the end of the year or early 2021. Colby DeVoe, HTS News Force.